Have you ever wanted to know what it was like when Rick was in a coma? I know I have, and a whole bunch of other people have too. And now we finally got that. We finally got a little bit of an answer. At least what went down, not to Rick, but to a couple other survivors. I'm Jazz Hands, your host for the very first and awesome episode of Fear the Dead Air. So come with me on a journey as we go back to the beginning. That is right, everybody. We are here for the first episode. Well, I'm here. I assume everybody else is running around doing something, but that's okay because I get a couple minutes now to talk to all of you lovelies. It is so cool to first show, right at the start of the school. Boom, we're here. I was hoping, though, that would be a little bit more... Because, okay, let me just say, I was hoping that Fear was going to end kind of in the middle of summer when you're really kind of itching, because now it's like, oh, well, September is here. We only got a month until The Walking Dead. I'm so excited. And it started. It started last week. It started this Sunday, and it's cool. It's great. I was just hoping that it would start maybe a little bit earlier in midsummer, because I don't want to go from watching, people kind of trying to survive and get eaten by walkers and stuff like that, and then instead of getting maybe a little bit of a break, like a month or two of a break, this is gonna be the 6 weeks leading up, the 6 episodes leading up to Walking Dead season 6, which I am so excited for. And that is going to be definitely good. But we're here to talk about Fear, and Fear the Dead Air is definitely, from the first episode, definitely a different beast that is definitely in the same world. It has its ups, it has its downs, and it has a plethora of other interesting and unique situations that just made the show feel so different and so new, yet so similar at the same time. I really like the way they did that, and they kind of made you feel. There were some problems with it, and I'm not gonna lie, there were definitely some problems that the show had, and we're all gonna get into that. But the characters, let's kind of talk about the characters. They definitely have a different feel. They're already a family that's in kind of not turmoil, but they're trying to become a family. It's, I believe, I don't know any of their names. I'm still trying to I'm horrible with names, and I can pull that up here in a little bit, and I should have done that. So. But it's more of a family. The story, from what it looks like and where it's going, is that it's more of a family that's kind of not in shambles, but a family that was coming together. And now, because all hell's breaking loose and the dead's starting to rise and people are eating other people, they're coming together in a stronger fashion and trying to move forward with kind of what's going on and build different relationships with each other and just try to not necessarily survive this, but survive day-to-day life in general, and then kind of survive this. It's definitely a whole new beast, and I'm excited to kind of dive in and talk about that. But I'll be back with Fear the Dead Air, and it's going to be awesome. First episode, super excited. We're going to talk about it when we come back from this break. So stay tuned, everybody. Your friendly neighborhood DJ Jazz Hands will be back. That is right, everybody. We are back here on 89.5 The Way, Fear the Dead Air, and I am your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ Jazz Hands, and it is awesome to be back! Okay, like I said a little bit earlier, I tracked down the rest of the crew that was, we
were hiding.
Scattered about. Everybody was kind of scattered about a little bit, but I think it might have been miscommunication on my part.
No. Some of us were actually in hiding. We thought we heard a walker on campus, and we ran off to hide.
That's true. So I'm Jazz Hands, and everybody else introduce yourself. Who the crew that's with me right now? Introduce yourself.
I'm GM Paul.
Hey, it's DJ Kaji right here.
And I'm Anime.
And we're going to be talking about last Sunday's epic Fear the Walking Dead episode. Now, I kind of stated a little bit earlier that I loved that, it's like the first week of school, and boom, we already got an episode, and we're already kind of jumping in. We don't have to wait till October to kind of get back into the zombie groove.
Woo!
Actually, my biggest thing is that we've got Fear the Walking Dead, and that ends, first season, the Sunday prior to The Walking Dead's return.
Exactly. So
and I'm like, yes, we're not going to have that desert of no walkers.
Exactly. So we're just going to be rocking it till late Easter, till
Well,
Easter. So
we're still going to have the mid-season,
the mid-season break, yeah, but I
which
mean,
sucks.
yeah,
I wish they would just run it straight through. I still say I'd love to see The Walking Dead go up against the Super Bowl.
Oh, God.
that would honestly, I think that could probably be the one thing to knock out the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Like real, especially the way that we think season 6 is going. Like it's going to be bigger, better, awesomer. I'm excited
With Negan.
With Negan.
Yeah. So okay, let's.
And one other
one
thing
more
I want to
thing.
mention, if you have been a regular listener to Dead Air, you know that we started that as sort of KCFV's homage, thanks to Jazz Hands, to Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick.
Yep.
They are not doing Talking Dead after Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, so we're
until the
pioneers.
very final episode of the first season. So if you want to hear a bunch of nerds talk about Fear the Walking Dead, we're it.
Yeah.
We're it.
Yeah.
We're the only source you have.
We're pioneers right now, and
Blazing the trail.
Pioneers, I prefer as the term.
let's dive into this episode. I've been super excited. I want to know what your guys' necessarily first thoughts of the episode as a whole was, and then we can kind of pick it apart piece by piece just a little bit. But what were your overall first thoughts of the episodes? Maybe even some of the new characters, what you liked, what you didn't like. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Okay, if you don't mind, Jazz Hands, I'll go first. The way it started off from the beginning, I mean, since we started off in the church and we got introduced to the new character, Nick was his?
Yep, Nick. Oh yeah, no, Nick Clark, I believe.
Yeah, Nick Clark.
Nick Clark, played by Frank Dillon.
Frank Delane.
Frank Delane, yeah. Who I like to refer to as a younger Johnny Depp.
Really?
Look at him when he was driving the truck in some of his scenes where he's all coked up.
I wasn't thinking Johnny Depp. There was another actor I was thinking, but it wasn't Johnny Depp.
Which one?
I don't see. The thing is, I can't think. I think.
Name, face not going together right
Yeah,
now?
it's just I don't know, but I wasn't thinking Johnny Depp. No. But starting off in the church and him waking up from. Let's just face it. He woke up from having some kind of drug in his system. Did we ever get the name of that drug?
Yeah, I believe he was a heroin addict.
Okay. I thought it was a different one, but from heroin. And he wakes up. There's apparently he had some chick sleeping beside him the night before. What was her name?
Gloria.
Gloria. And so he goes downstairs when he doesn't see her, and there doesn't seem to be a soul in the church.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was bad. But we follow him, Nick, down into, I guess, the central where, the pews used to be, and it's, all just boxes and stuff now. And we get our first glimpse of, would you call her the patient zero of fear, or?
That's the only thing I could think. I mean, Jazz Hands, what do you think?
I don't think she's patient zero. I think, because from what it sounds like, especially when you meet Box Cutter Bill at the school,
What?
Tobias.
Yeah, Tobias.
Yeah. I actually like that character.
Lincoln Castellanos.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
played a good character.
Yeah. But from what it seems like even before this, there's been little small incidences of Walker outbreaks kind of going on, and nobody really knows what's been going on. It seems like they've been small, isolated incidences that the government was able to kind of cover up relatively kind of quick, but now it's starting to spread because if you die, which we can all assume that his lady friend either died
Probably from
of
an
a overdose, or heard something, or went to go get more and walked downstairs, and then one of those guys killed her for money or whatever, because it seemed like it was a naturally bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm thinking it was an overdose, because at least I didn't say I know about you, Kaji, or even you, Jazz Hands. I didn't remember seeing any bite marks on her, so she might have just died from an overdose, and then the other two druggies who were there were just too still, I guess, intoxicated is the word to use.
but see, she had to have moved. She couldn't have turned and then walked where she did, because it looked like she was in distress, or she was trying to go out to get help.
Okay.
Because of the blood walking out. Because we've seen walkers take down people that were sleeping before.
True.
We've seen people be sleeping and they've taken them out. So that's what I can assume. I don't think she's patient zero. I think she's definitely the first walker that
For LA.
not even
At
LA.
least for the series.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
That
yeah.
works.
She's patient zero. A lot more subtle than I guess our patient zero,
Yeah.
which was the bike lady in.
Well,
First
I
episode.
don't know if I'd say Bike Lady was patient zero, but she was the first one we actually encountered in full, or as much as there was left of her.
Yeah. Let's move on. Other thoughts.
Okay, so after we get Nick's big freak out and he ends up in the hospital, we meet his mother, Madison or something?
I believe it's Madeline.
Madeline.
Maddie.
Madison.
Oh, Madison? It is Madison,
Okay,
yes.
Madison Clark.
Madison Clark, and I kind of liked her character, but really wasn't a big fan of it. Like, I'm going to totally relate to this character. And I liked her boyfriend, going to be husband, whatever you want to call him.
Travis.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. Travis. And she and Travis are not connecting their families, but they're getting together. They're all living in a house. It's her son Nick, Alan, was it Alice?
Alicia.
Why am I thinking different names? Alicia, and then he's got a son with, I guess, his former wife, who's
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. What was the location with him again?
I believe he's still in L.A. He's just living with his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
because that was a whole kind of big thing that they were talking about.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna come into play in
Yeah, I
the
think
second
so.
or third episode.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It definitely looks like they from the clips from the second episode. But okay, so let's move on because we don't need necessarily a huge recap of the show.
Okay, fair
let's
enough.
like Kaji or even Paul. What were your guys' essential kind of like initial thoughts of the overall episode, maybe as a whole, and then we can kind of dig into the nitty gritty.
But I didn't see the full episode. I only saw like clips, probably the waking of the church and probably the hotel. That's mostly what I've seen. The scenes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so you've seen basically what they kind of showed in the trailers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I did get to watch the entire episode twice.
Amen.
That's something new.
Nerd. And I will say there were a couple things. Number one, the pacing was very, very slow,
Yes.
Yep.
and I think it had to be
Yes.
for introducing the characters. And because you have to think, a lot of people were complaining. I saw on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media that, well, it was really slow, man. I was expecting like The Walking Dead's first episode, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, The Walking Dead, you had Rick shot, Rick in hospital, Rick in coma, big gap, Rick wakes up, small hick Georgia town in the middle of nowhere is overrun by walkers. So this is L.A. This is the very beginning of it, and we don't have that 60-day gap, according to Robert Kirkman,
Yeah.
where we don't know what the heck happened. And that's the purpose of this show, is to fill in that gap. I think what we're going to see is, I think the pace is going to pick up tremendously in episodes 2 and 3. I almost think it has to, or they will start losing people, but they needed to start slow to show, A, nobody knew what was going on. Tobias was the closest one to actually having an idea of what was happening. And, when he had his little freak out in school with Madison, and, I have to do this, man. It's 5 states, man. They're reporting it. People are just, they don't know. They don't know what it is. And he's flipping out.
Yep.
And you're going to have people who follow things like that, the quote-unquote conspiracy nuts that are like, yeah, man, this is the military. They're keeping this from us and blah, blah, blah. And this is, it's happening. And, oh, you know what? If the government, Madison even said, if something like this were happening, they would tell people about it. And they were, but they were disguising it as, oh, yeah, it's really nasty flu. A lot of people out because of the flu. Yeah, you start noticing and they were very, very subtle. As the episode went on, you started seeing more missing posters
Yeah.
up places. You'd see like one here
Yeah.
And then as they were driving back and forth, they'd see like 3 or 4. And by the end of the episode, there was like this whole wall just covered with different missing, please call if found.
I don't remember that, but I mean, here's the whole thing that I'm wondering, because The Walking Dead does sometimes like to misdirect us.
Yeah.
Just a bit. They've done it with the trailers in the past for season 5.
I think they're doing it with 6 too, but we'll cover that at a different time.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But they like to misdirect us. So I'm wondering how many of those missing posters are because of the walkers, or just because, I mean, it's LA,
or because they've
a lot
turned.
of kids.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the walkers, but because they've now become walkers.
Yeah.
That's where I'm kind of leaning with this. Couple of observations that I made from the first episode, and chime in. But one, I think it's fantastic that, as Anna was pointing out, the very first episodes you see are in a drug den. Who's going to believe some whacked out junkie who just got up from a heroin high and said, man, I just saw my girlfriend eating somebody. It was horrible. They're like, oh, yeah, you really had a bad trip.
Yeah. And I really actually did like that aspect of, what was the character's name again?
Nick?
Nick, of Nick's kind of character, like that point of view, because, like, I can't be the only one that thought that this was kind of like Fear the Walking Dead, at least the first episode, was kind of like Breaking Bad trying to be Walking Dead, or Walking Dead trying to be Breaking Bad. Like, there was just this weird medium of drug dealers and overdoses.
I really wanted it to be blue meth that they were shooting.
Oh, yeah. I honestly,
wanted to tie it back to Breaking Bad.
Honestly, they could have sat there, and instead of the one who I call Quicksilver as
Calvin
as the drug dealer, Jesse. This is what happens to Jesse. He moved after Breaking Bad. He moves to LA and starts selling drugs again. You know, because you can't keep Jess out of it as much as you would like to try. Poor Jesse. But I did like that kind of idea of Nick. Like, nobody really believed in him, and to the point where he doesn't believe it himself.
He's not sure.
He's like,
that was great.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that was really kind of fun, psychological, but the only other downside of that is maybe if we had no recollection of The Walking Dead before and what was going on, we would be like, oh, like maybe we'd be more into it, but because we know, hey, there are walkers out there, this is going to happen, you guys are messed up because something's going to come.
And they use that against us.
Yeah.
They use that against us so many times, and I hate and I love that whole creative crew for doing that to us, where especially the one that I can remember right off the top of my head is when she walks up to the principal
Barack
and he's
Obama,
leaning over. Yeah. And she's like, Art, Principal Costas, Art, and you're like, he's going to turn around and
yeah.
and
oh
he's
my
like,
gosh, I thought, yeah.
You know, I have to monitor the teachers, right? I'm doing my evaluations, and he's listening on the two-way. That is going to come into play, but I was waiting for him to turn around, and there were so many scenes where it's like, the other one, Nick, when he was in the hospital and the old guy coded next to him, I figured while he was trying to use the John in the little bedpan, the old guy was going to croak and then come back and he'd have to fight him off while he was in restraints, and then, maybe. No, it didn't happen. They rushed him out. They rushed him downstairs. So they use these fake outs. And it's like, okay, they're toying with those of us who watch The Walking Dead. They're messing with us at this point. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm so good with that. The whole thing, and the people who complained that it was slow, this was to introduce the characters, to make us hopefully care about them. The whole payoff of the show was the first scene and the last scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was one little bit. Really, the whole payoff of the show was the 3 scenes where you saw walkers, because really you only saw 3 definite walkers. Mm-hmm. The first scene with Gloria, the last scene with Cal, and then the scene that was on the tablet and the phones and everything, where They showed, look at this guy, man. I don't know what's going on. He's on something.
It's like they
They
him.
shot him like 9 times.
Yep.
And then the one kid goes,
the girl.
check this out. Boom, headshot.
It's like,
And that took
my
him
gosh.
out. And they learned 2 things a hell of a lot faster than Rick's group did.
Yes.
Number 1, boom, headshot. Take out the head, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, even those who haven't been bitten come back.
Yeah, I can turn.
Yeah.
They learned that with
Calvin. And there's
potentially may have learned that with the guy on the video.
Yeah.
And may have learned that with the old guy. I think the hospital's going to come back into play with it.
Yeah. So it seems like definitely there's a couple things that I want to go over because I was just going to let you finish. But it seems like they're definitely not going to be like, oh, well, they're going to rediscover you have to shoot him in the head. They're going to rediscover that, oh, well, if you die, you come back. Like, I think it's like they're going to be knowledgeable up to where our crew is now, but still be like, have that evolutionary process of becoming badasses.
Robert Kirkman has stated that there are going to be things that this group will figure out that Rick's group hasn't, and that it may take this group a long time to figure out things that Rick's group has.
And I don't know if that's going to be interesting or frustrating.
You know what? I think it's going to be a mixture of both. Watching them sit there and struggle with, oh my God, come on, just, you can do this. Has some people, I have a feeling what he's talking about as far as it's going to take them a lot longer to figure out is there is no cure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the thing is this is not a sickness. You can't cure these people.
No viruses or anything like that?
Well, even if it is a virus, we still don't know what is causing this.
Mm-mm.
But it took until season 2 at Herschel's farm when our group finally convinced Herschel and the rest of them, and even the ones that were kind of holdouts within our Rick's group, that no, you can't heal these people. You kill them.
Yeah.
They're already dead. You can't heal the dead. For some reason, they're still moving around. We just have to put them out.
Mm-hmm. Put them out of their misery.
And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to take these people the longest because it's going to be really hard because these are fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into here in a minute. But go on, finish your thought.
Well, I was going to say, these are fresher zombies, so they're not going to look as decayed. They're going to look like your neighbor down the street, the old man around the corner, your girlfriend, your buddy Calvin, who you were just trying to score drugs off of, and he was going to shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
They still look like normal people, just kind of maybe a little messed up or with bullet holes in them.
Yeah, and that for that aspect, at least for me, that's why I think this show can do a little bit more of what The Walking Dead can't, because Walking Dead has beautiful visual effects for the walkers.
Yes.
They look scary, they look gross, they look decayed, they look awesome. However, with this, the walkers are almost 10 times scarier than the walkers that we get in The Walking Dead, because in Fear, they're fresh. So they can look like Kaji that got bit on the arm and that we just don't know, and he turns around and he's all geeked out. Like, they can look like, you, they can look like me, they can look like anybody, and that has more freaky elements to it in my book, where if they're in the city and there's chaos going on, there's walkers, there's normal people trying to get away, there's chaos running around in the streets, riots and stuff, you're now going to be like, you're going to feel more danger. Like, it's going to be more dangerous, at least in your mind, of where can I go and what can I do?
Yeah. Well, and, another thing, everybody's saying, oh, this moves so slow. And the only thing I can think to myself is if it only took 60 days for a small town in the middle of nowhere in Georgia to become overrun, imagine what's going to happen when things like this start happening in L.A., where people there's a huge population center, people interact with each other every day, people are in confined spaces with each other. you're in Georgia, yeah, you're not going to be riding the subway to work every day where somebody may potentially be bitten and all of a sudden they die and turn, and you're stuck on the train with them for another 20 minutes. Oops. There's going to be a lot more places like the church, the drug dens, where all of a sudden somebody turns and there's 12 junkies asleep, and boom, all 12 of those get bit. They end up dying. They turn. Well, so now that one person has just magnified their effect 12 times. So each one of those goes out, bites 12 people, 15 people. I think
The numbers grow.
I think their problem is going to explode in number.
And I hope that's what they actually do, because that was one of the things. Because definitely with Fear, you kind of look back and remember the one scene from The Walking Dead where it was Shane and Lori, and when they watched the city get
Nuked?
napalmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Napalmed. And so that's what I kind of hope that this show is at least going towards, where we really do see how quickly it escalated and how it wasn't like, oh, well, there's some stuff, like, it's going to quickly escalate and everything. And one thing that I want to kind of backtrack on before I forget is you were talking about the kind of Walker jump scares a little bit earlier, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the fake outs.
Yeah,
Yes.
the fake outs. Now, it can be done very, very well, but I really hope, because from what it looked like from the next episode, a little bit of a spoiler. I mean, the whole thing's a spoiler, but
Yeah.
We've been doing spoilers since we got on here.
it looks like the principal kind of got bit and is...
I really don't want to spoil too much, but if you look at IMDb, he's only listed for 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Principal Costa.
I wasn't even
It was
like...
nice to know ye.
I wasn't even like looking at that. But yeah, he only lasted 2 episodes, so I really hope they don't do the exact same thing again, but this time he is a walker.
Oh, I think they're absolutely going to do that.
Yes.
That's just, I don't know, that's just going to
I-
annoy me. It's going to, that makes me feel like it's kind of lazy-ish.
No,
No.
they're going to do it, and the reason is they've set you up. He does this a lot. So next time she walks in and she's like, hey, Art, and all of a sudden I don't think it's going to be Art. I think it's going to be, hey, Art, I just wanted to...
Yeah, it's going to be quicker.
Quicker.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go through the same whole building it up, because they were even playing the creepy music.
Yes.
I mean, really,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really
they-
went
they-
all out.
Yeah, they had the creepy music on back, They,
Yeah.
they were ready.
Yeah, they were ready to fool us, and it's one thing. I'm kind of a magic buff. I like watching magicians, and that's sort of the whole misdirection in magic is we make you think that the thing is over here, we show you it's not over here, then we show you it's not over here, and then it is over here. And that's, I think, what they're trying to do with this is, oh, yeah, see, no, he's not a walker. See? Or more precisely, he might be, no, he really isn't. And then all of a sudden, nope, he is now.
I got a question. Now, for the Fear of the Walking Dead, will they start doing like military to isolate everybody who's not bitten or anything like that?
That's what it looks like episode 2 is going to be doing.
Yeah, and it can either be a good thing or a bad thing, because my whole, and I've said this and I'm going to say it again, like, my whole ideal story for this is a family kind of coming together, trying to escape the city and get out. And because realistically, you got 6 episodes, and it doesn't have to kind of be like The Walking Dead where it's ups and downs and all over. They could have all 6 episodes be them trying to get out of LA from the walkers and the crazy people and all the chaos. It could fully be that. And then maybe even season 2, that's when Mr. Where's his name?
What guy?
Travis. Where Travis
Oh.
then tries to go and get his son. In season 2, you've already left enough open for...
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to guess that Mommy gets bit and or dies and turns. And
which one?
Chris's
Travis,
mom.
Madison?
Chris.
Okay.
No,
No.
Chris's mom.
Okay.
Travis's ex.
Yes.
I'm going to make a prediction that sometime in the first season she gets bit, turns, and Travis has to go save Chris because Chris was like, I don't want to see my dad. anything to do with my dad.
Oh, I hate it. I
And
hated
it's
that
going
character.
to be.
I think we're supposed to.
I think so, but I think that's where they're leading you. They're saying, okay, yeah, he doesn't like his dad. He has a serious beef with his dad. And then his mom tries to eat him, and he goes, okay, you know what? Dad's pretty cool. Dad, save me! You know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Like,
You don't think so?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I think maybe the mom will get bit, but from what it kind of looked like, and I don't want to get into it too much, but it looked like he was going to him already. Like, the mom kind of talked him in and forced him into going.
Yeah, that might be it.
So, I mean, now it's going to be that he finds out during all this chaos that, oh, his son's in the city as well, and now they got to go find the city, and I think maybe that's where we can kind of start liking the heroin addict again. Mm-hmm. Like, I really think something's going to happen to where he's going to
Something's gonna
step,
happen.
he's
step
gonna
up and
have to step up.
save somebody. He's,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be. I think he might be a interesting character
Hey, Paul.
if done right.
He almost has to. Yeah.
Hey, wait, now, when they went to the hotel without the, lockdown and everything, that this, forgot what it called. And everything locked in, like barricaded for everybody got
You
sickness.
mean like whatever that restaurant or whatever? I thought it was like a restaurant.
Well,
Yeah,
there.
that hasn't happened yet.
They haven't up yet?
That didn't happen in the first episode.
no,
okay.
that's like
They're showing that in either
Okay,
two or three.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 or 3. Okay, I'm jumping
With
ahead.
Yeah,
the,
because
Yeah.
I was trying to think back. I'm like, when was there a lockdown?
when there's
Yeah.
like with the Hispanic family. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's episode 2.
And that's either 2 or 3.
I'm thinking 3 actually.
Okay, I was going ahead of myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's to me, it's interesting to follow this family, and it was good that they established the dynamic of the family.
Yes.
The sister is the perfect one.
Yes.
Right.
Well, sorta. She's
Well,
Sort of,
compared
but
to a
she's,
heroin addict. Like,
Well, yeah, I
you're
mean,
gonna
yeah.
look
perfect,
good
but she
no
wants
matter
to get
what.
out.
you're setting the bar kind of low there.
Yeah.
You're better than your junkie brother. Oh, gee, thanks. Yeah. Really appreciate that.
I want to get like after we're like done setting up the characters. Like, I want to talk about like the mom real quick. But go on. What were you saying?
Well, I mean, you set up, okay, so you've got junkie brother who, he flunked out of college, and she's been accepted to this, Berkeley. Oh, my God. She doesn't want to necessarily go, but she wants to get the hell out of their little town because it just sucks. They're holding her back so bad.
Yeah.
Mom and her boyfriend has a son and an ex-wife, and the daughter seems to be okay with Travis. The son, Nick, does not like Travis being in there, but seemed to accept Travis when Travis stayed with him at the hospital.
That not only stayed with him in the hospital, but I think after he kind of got to the point where it seemed that when Nick thought he was still when he thought he was going insane after he came back, when they found him again, he apparently called Travis to come get him after the thing with Calvin and
No,
badly.
no.
They found him.
He called his mom.
No, he called Travis and said, "Why did you bring her?"
No, that's right. That's right.
He said, "Why did you bring him?"
No, it was her. It was Mom.
I think it was, why did you bring her? Because he didn't want his mother to see him.
I am pretty sure it was her.
I watched it twice, and I wanted to,
So did I.
because he was cool when Travis got out, and then when she got out of the other side, he's like, I thought I told you not to bring her, and he said,
"We'll look it up here in a minute."
Yeah, we'll check on it.
Yeah, we will.
We'll have a little bit of a scoreboard here, but I want to talk about a couple things. One, I like that the characters are. I mean, I like Travis already. Like, I think, and everybody was supposed to like Travis, and I think his family's just kind of giving him a hard time. But I really hope they don't make him like, because this is supposed to be okay. Rick was a cop, so he's a little bit more safer off than a lot.
Yeah, he's supposed to be more, more kind of like on the down low as opposed to Rick being a cop.
This is supposed to be the everyman.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is going to be interesting because you have a high school English teacher and a high school guidance counselor.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have a cop and a sheriff's deputy and
redneck who is a
an
badass,
amazing badass redneck and his idiot brother.
a pizza delivery kid,
Yeah.
an awesome farm with some kick-ass people.
You've got a junkie,
Carol.
a kind of Carol we didn't think was going to be all that, but woo, she turned into
Yeah,
Carol.
she did.
So you've got a junkie, a snooty, know-it-all kind of bratty teenager, a guidance counselor, a teacher, and a really bratty, spoiled son.
Oh yeah. He's like one of those kids that like gets like good grades, and so he thinks he's better than everybody else, but he has no friends. Like that's dynamic right there. Go on.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's going to be interesting to see how they fare because I get the feeling that Travis has never like used a gun in his life.
Probably not.
And Maddie neither.
Well, I'm interested. I don't see him
Nick?
use a gun.
Nick, I got a feeling he knows how to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Just
I can
saying.
see. Yeah.
Just not a gun.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so I like that these characters are kind of getting set up. However, the one thing that kind of irked me was the mom, Madison.
Yeah.
It seemed like right out the bat, they're trying to make her the tough chick, and I'm almost getting an Andrea vibe from her, and I'm not liking it. Like the one scene where she kind of reached in the pocket and felt the one kid's knife, and then went, "Oh, it's just a change. Come on," and then like kind of took that. That was like the scene where I was like, I really think I kind of like her because she's smart, but she's not like I need to prove myself. She's natural street smart.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. This might be beyond my personal morals, but she's definitely trying to be the tough chick, and like from when Travis like said something sweet, and she was like, "Oh yuck, you're getting all lovey-dovey." It's like, what is this, like 4th grade? Like, for one, and two, that she like wouldn't like. She's like, I'm not gonna cut your brother off of the money. It's like it'd probably be the best thing for him because he's clearly doing drugs and he's not gonna stop. And the only thing that could possibly maybe make him stop is the end of the world.
Cash.
Well,
Or the end of the world.
Yeah, so
Whichever comes first.
that was just some of my one problems. I mean, granted, these characters are still in very, very early development. We still got a while to go before they kind of reach their peak. And I mean, even the Walking Dead characters are still evolving and changing, and that's what I love about the show. But from first impressions, I don't like the mom very much. Travis, he's everyman. He seems awesome. The only complaint I have about him is, who the hell would listen to their heroin-addicted girlfriend's son and go to a place where somebody probably died, a bunch of people shoot up all the time, and just because a heroin addict was just like, oh, I saw something. Like, okay, for the story's progression, I understand, but as a normal human being, who would do that?
Point of order. I didn't have a problem with him doing that. I had a problem with him slipping in the blood, falling, and not calling the cops. Instead, grabbing mommy and taking her down. That's a crappy date, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Wow.
There's a lot better things to do than go, hey, so why don't you come with me and we'll go to this, like, blood-covered church, and it'll be cool, Just you and me, yeah? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fun time?
So there were a couple like that I was just like, oh, why would you? Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
I will say this: I'm willing to give it at least through episode 3. Me personally, I'm committed through the first season.
Oh yeah, we're
6
gonna,
episodes.
Yeah, I'm watching all seasons. I'm watching all of the season 6. It's
Unless
just, these are the problems that we have.
Unless they pull a Z Nation and do something so god awful, I can't stand and I rage quit it.
Yeah.
That's the only way, and I think Kirkman, Nicotero, and that group are way too smart to do that. I mean, the debut episode, the premiere, was the #1 cable series launch on record. 10.1 million viewers.
Boom, Walking Dead.
Beat the previous holder, TNT's Raising the Bar, which had 7.7 million in 2008. So it beat it by almost 3 million viewers more.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Boom.
It was
Zombies rule.
fantastic.
And Drool and Shuffle.
It was fantastic episode. I'm definitely committed in. These are just some of the little problems that I've had with the pilot. Now, unfortunately with this, and because we can kind of criticize it in the beginning, like we didn't have that luxury with The Walking Dead. Like when did what was it, season 4? When we started Dead Air?
What, I thought it was like season 3.
It was 3, I think.
Because you were at the prison.
Yeah, it was right as we got to the prison.
Yeah. So so that was like 3 years ago. We've been 3 years
3
ago.
years, cool.
Yeah. Did not think. But,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, that was when we kind of just jumped in and started doing it. This is very different. This is first episode. Nobody, I don't think, is really doing this. So we can kind of be a little bit more...
On our own, we're not copying other ideas.
Well, it's not necessarily even on its own. We can be a little bit harder on it because of how the bar has been set with The Walking Dead. However, we also need to give it a little bit of leeway to tell the good story.
Very true.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're really, really working towards a very good story with this.
Yes.
But in true Walking Dead fashion, if you look back at some of the story arcs, they've taken a while to get set up and going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would almost
now
say...
I'm looking at the setting, and it's almost like starting like what it did like recently, like Resident Evil starting to build up like how it all started.
Exactly.
I would almost say season 2 was when we actually got the legit linear story, and season 1 was just kind of random event after random event kind of happened to the crew.
Yeah, I could go with that. And realistically, you know, in this we're having the luxury of meeting the main characters before all the duty hits the fan.
Yeah.
In season 1, we met Rick and Shane. We really didn't get to see much of Lori or Carl. We saw enough to know that Rick had a wife named Lori and a little kid named Carl.
And that we don't really like Lori from the past.
And then all of a sudden we get, like an episode full of Rick
I think so.
trying to find these people with Morgan and his son Derek. I believe it's Derek.
I think so.
And then we get, this is the whole group. Oh, we're going to the CDC. Oh, it's bad. Boom! End of season 1.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, really? You can't do this to us, man. This is wrong. No! But you got introduced to this whole group of characters while they were in the middle of trying to survive.
Yep. And
in this, we have the luxury of meeting these characters before they're fighting for their lives and going, wow, you're kind of a douche. I don't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the whole things is, and it might just be like me, but when season 1 of The Walking Dead kind of started, I didn't watch the original run through at first. I DVR'd it because I lived down in Puxico for a while, and that was when I was in Puxico, and I couldn't watch it on a regular basis, or I couldn't watch it at all. So I DVR'd it in Thanksgiving weekend. When I came back up here to visit for Thanksgiving, I powerhoused through the entire season.
Nice. Turkey and zombies.
So it was like boom, boom, boom. Get the characters, you get to love the characters, you get to love Glenn, you get to love. So I'm still holding out to where I'm going to like these characters. I don't think I'm not going to like them. It's just first impressions. One thing I want to cover too, because we're slowly starting to run out of time. But did anybody else know the god-awful yellowing tint that they had in like the first 20 minutes of the episode maybe?
Yeah, they were using the CSI Miami filter for the first part of it.
Like seriously, like
they were
because I was watching when I was watching it. My brother had some of his friends over, and we were kind of like talking about it. And I'm like, that's so. It just like it looked like a movie. It looked like high def kind of movie-ish type of tint, and I'm like, that doesn't feel like The Walking Dead. Is it just gonna all be yellow? Like, and he was just like, and one of his friends was just like, oh, I bet when the zombies get here, it's gonna slowly start to turn, and.
Yeah, and I think we're going to notice that because one of the things that I saw a couple of complaints about online was that every scene seemed to establish, we're in L.A. Look, we're in L.A. The Venice Beach sign.
Yeah.
Hey, there's the L.A. skyline.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the sign that says welcome to L.A. Look, we're going to linger on the palm trees to show we're really in Los Angeles. It's like, okay, seriously, guys, we know you're in L.A. And I think there were a lot of really bright, vibrant colors. I think we're going to see that go drab.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
As
so too.
things getting darker, so to speak, with the number of walkers and the infection and the survival percentages of the cast, I think we're probably going to get more of, your You're going to get a little bit more dark.
Yeah, and see, and I want to kind of go back and say something about this. At this point, from episode 1, I still don't think Rick's in the coma yet. I think that's going to happen sometime soon, but because these are big cities, and then they live in nowhere.
This is almost on the other coast.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's almost to the East Coast. We're talking L.A.
Yeah. So I don't think Rick, as of right now, is in the coma. Now, there's one more thing that I want to get to before we have to wrap it up, because we're getting close.
Okay.
The drug dealer, Jesse, or also known as Quicksilver.
Calvin.
Yeah. I call him
Not Jesse.
I call him Quicksilver
Not
because he had a silver coat, he had a silver hat, and he
had silver eyes when he turned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you knew he was a bad guy. Like, nobody just vacuums out a car.
I had no clue until he
I
ended
didn't
up.
either.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Okay, I might have exaggerated. I didn't pick up on it at first either, but when I saw that he was a drug dealer, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
I can agree with.
I was surprised at first. And then it was one of those that you kind of look back and go, okay, yeah, he was just too perfect.
Yeah.
He was vacuuming out his wheelchair-accessible van that he uses to take handicapped children on field trips as cover for being a drug dealer. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, now, I'm kind of glad that got resolved. The one thing that I am kind of worried about is because we've gotten so many good bad guys in The Walking Dead right now. I mean, we've had the governor, we've had, what's-her-face who killed Beth.
Dawn.
Yeah, we got the setup for the wolves. I mean, we've had some, Pete. We've had some pretty interesting bad guys. But I'm hoping that for the first season, we don't get. I don't want a bad guy in it. I don't think that every episode we need to kind of get introduced to a new bad guy and then they kind of get resolved. I hope that it's a story about survival first and then introduce some bad guys.
I think the bad guy that's going to be in season 1 is going to be the military.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much a bad guy as it is a bad entity.
Yeah.
Oh, the military's in. They're going to screw everything up. I don't think it's going to be necessarily one person, but I have a feeling that it's going to be that's who the bad people are.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that. Like, realistically, it should evolve like how The Last of Us kind of did. I don't know if anybody knows what The Last of Us is or if you play The Last of Us, but The Last of Us is a fantastic game. Love it. But the story in it was the government wasn't the bad guys, but if there was a high enough area that were filled with zombies, it didn't matter if you were infected or not, you were getting taken out because of spreading risk.
And I'll be honest, I think the finale for episode 6, season 1, is going to be the napalming of LA.
I'm thinking that too.
I could see that too, and that's what I kind of hope. Because it was one of the cooler scenes when you saw Shane and Laurie standing there as you see fire raining down. Like, you're like, oh, that's so creepy to watch, and to know that there's, living people, there's dead people, there's these.
And it doesn't matter. Because they have to do this to try and contain it. Well, it's not going to work, but they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
There weren't really any good, there weren't any memorable sayings.
Not yet.
That was one of the sucky parts about the first episode. I love that it was 90 minutes, and I hated that it was 90 minutes. Because it drug out that much longer.
Yes.
Yeah, it did make it feel like it was so much longer, and normally with The Walking Dead, because I have ADD bad. I'm all over the place. But with, The Walking Dead, I can focus in and I can watch. With this, I would try to focus in and I would try to watch something, and I would look away for a second or get distracted for a second, and I miss something.
Yeah.
And it just
a 90-minute
so
episode of The Walking Dead, count me in, which, by the way, season 6 premiere, 90 minutes.
Yep.
Woo-woo.
It's going to be
October 11th.
fun.
Oh, that's going to rock.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
Woo-woo.
But that show is established enough that I think it can do 90 minutes. I think they said that the final episode is going to be an hour and a half of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm not entirely certain on that. I don't know if that's the best idea or not.
It's like
we'll have to see.
It's like they're already banking for success, which that's not a bad thing to bank for success.
Oh no, they're banking for success. They've already they started off ordering 2 seasons, a 6 episode first and a 16 episode second, and they've already ordered a third season.
Okay, so
we're
at
in
the
for
most
at least
part,
3 seasons.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I like exploring, and I have no, it's going to pick up. I think it's definitely going to pick up. It's going to become a good story, and any like slowness, I think, is going to be forgotten relatively quickly.
I think it has to if they're going to make it past episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because, Better Call Saul, the Breaking Bad spinoff, had a great premiere. And I don't know if they're planning on bringing that back at AMC or not. I stopped watching after the second episode because I was like, okay, this is just too slow and I really don't care.
It was very, very slow. And because I watched the whole thing and I love Breaking Bad and I love Saul. So the character in and of itself, it was fun to watch. However, the season, you could relatively say it was a lot of, nothing happened.
Yeah. And that's, I want something that's going to move a story forward. I don't think Fear the Walking Dead is going to have that problem because they've got, let's face it, we're watching. We already know what it's going to end up like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we know where we are and we know where we're going. They just have to get us there in a manner that's fast enough that we don't get bored, but slow enough that it's not like, okay, well, now what do we do?
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's definitely going to be fine. As for the first episode, it was slow. It wasn't, I'll be honest, it wasn't as memorable as like the first episode of The Walking Dead.
I can agree.
But we still got a whole entire season to go, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But anyway, that was our first episode of our first show of Fear the Dead Air. And yeah, we did it. It was so much fun. I loved it. I'm ready. I'm tuned in for the next 6 weeks, and I hope you guys are too.
Definitely.
And then we're gonna get into season 6 of The Walking Dead, which I guess would be our show 4.
Fun.
4 seasons.
That's gonna be we came in season 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's gonna be the start of our 4th season of Dead Air.
Our 4th birthday of Dead
So-
Air.
We need to bring in a cake or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to make more stuff to make this bigger. Either way, thanks everybody for listening. I was awesome, and we'll be back next week. Same time, same place.
See you later.
See ya.
Adios, guys.